Um, Syntax and semantics. Syntax is the form of structure or structure of expressions or statements for a given language. So in Java, so yung while loop, it has the Boolean expression and then the statement. Semantics, it's the meaning of the expressions. Language, group of words that can be combined, and the rules of combining those words. A sentence is a legal statement in the language. Lexeme is the lowest level syntactic unit in the language. Token is a language category for the Lexeme. Uh, Token, index, identifier, assignment operator, equal sign, to is integer literal, the multiplication operator, count identifier, plus addition operator, 17, literal, semicolon. Those are tokens. Languages. So there's a language recognizer. Given a sentence, is it in the given language? Language generator. Given a language, create legal and meaningful sentences. We can build a language recognizer if we already have a language generator. A grammar is a description of a language, can be used for generation or given the grammar, a language recognizer known as parser can be created. We classify languages into one of four categories: the regular, context-free, context-sensitive, recursively enumerable. Here we are interested in the context-free grammar. Includes which can be generated from a language generator. All natural languages and programming languages fall into this category. BNF or Bacchus Naur form, equivalent to a context-free language, is a notation or a meta-language used to specify the grammar of a language. Can be used for language generation or recognition. It's used for rules. It uses rules to map non-terminal symbols, the tokens, into other terminals and terminal, non-terminals and terminals. We define BNF as G grammar. Okay, it's equals to the set of alphabet rules and the start. Alphabet consists of those symbols used in the rules. Both terminal symbols and non-terminal symbols. Non-terminal symbols are placed in open and close, less than greater sign. The rules map from a non-terminal to other elements in the alphabet. For instance, a rule might say A, therefore A, then A, B, B or B, A. Rules can be recursive as shown above, where A can be applied to generate a terminal B and another B. Start is a non-terminal, which is a starting point for a language generator and must be on that side. Examples of grammar rules. Program, it begins with a statement list and it ends. So you notice that the use of terminal and right on the right side. Recursion is used as necessary. Okay. Identi- Identity list contains identity and or identity and another list recursive. The bar symbol means or, so that the ident list can be a single ident or an ident and a comma and more of the ident list. It's calling. So ibig sabihin, there's an instance similar to that. No? Can be so ident list. Okay. So example, assignment variable equals to expression. If statement is an if, then the logical expression, then the statement, or if logical expression, then the statement, else the statement. Sample of a grammar. A program begins and then ends. So inside that are the statement lists. Ano yung nandun sa loob ng statement list? Hindi statement token or another statement token and then and meron semicolon to break statement, and you also have another statement list. Now let's have a look at the statement. So statement can be a variable and expression assignment. Okay. A variable can be any of the valid variable. Okay. Expression could be the current or the available expressions, probably arithmetic, logical, relational operations. A derivation from the grammar program. So it begins and ends or statement. No? So there's a derivation. No? There are different scenarios here. You define what consists of the program. What are the possibilities? No? It could be expression, statement list, variable. Okay. So basically, it begins and it ends, and inside that there are statement lists. Parse tree. It's a hierarchical structure displaying the derivation of an expression in some grammar. There are leaf nodes. These are terminals. There are non-leaf nodes, which are non-terminals. There's a parser, which processes, which takes a sentence and breaks it into component parts, deriving a parse tree. Parser cannot generate a parse tree, then the sentence is not legal. If the parser cannot generate a parse tree, the statement is not legal. If the parser can generate two or more parse trees, then the grammar is ambiguous. Okay, here's the grammar and parse tree. So sign, ID equals to expression. Identifier is equals to expression. An ID can be A, B, or C. Okay, it can be A, expression, okay, B, expression, ID, C. Okay, the parse tree for the derivation is this. No? So naging, naging tree siya. Okay, an ambiguous grammar. So assignment, ID equals to expression, ID, ABC, expression plus expression, and expression times expression ID. With this grammar, the sentence assignment A equals to B plus A times C has two distinct parse trees. Okay, what are those? ID expression. Okay, so yeah, magkaiba siya. A, B, A, C. A, B, A, C. You know? A, na muna niya munang minultiply, then inad si B, then inassign yung value nun. But here, it gets the sum, then multiplies to C, and then assign it to A. So, it's ambiguous. Unambiguous grammar. Okay? So, pag nilagyan mo na doon ng mga parentheses, no, that removes the ambiguity. Okay? Pag nilagyan mo na ng parentheses, isa lang yung ano niya, parse string ma-generate niya. Okay? So, yung expression mo can only have this, no? Okay? C times A, then plus B, and then it assigns the result to A. Associativity, we maintain the operator precedence through additional rules whereby higher precedence operators after the application of more rules. Okay. Notice that A plus B plus C is equals to C plus A plus B. Okay, associativity. Now, how we will require that all rules in our BNF be left recursive for left associativity and right recursive for right associativity. Okay. Ambiguous if then else, no? So if statement, then if, or assign is equal to if merong logical expression, then statement, or if logical expression, then statement, else statement. Since a statement could be another if statement, we could generate if x is greater than 0, then if y is greater than 0, then x else. That's ambiguous. So the problem is that this is ambiguous. Is the else the alternative to the first then or the second then? Okay? We could use the parentheses to remove the ambiguity. Okay? Unambiguous if then else. Okay? If a statement is a match or unmatch, match contains if the logical expression then match, else match, or any non-if statement. Unmatch means if the logical expression then the statement, or if logical expression then match, else unmatch. Now here's the extended BNF grammar. So three common extensions to use BNF. You can use the these separators, okay, bracket. So used to denote optional elements, saves more space so that we don't have to enumerate options as separate possibilities. Okay. It's used to indicate zero or more instances, yung braces, parentheses for a list of choices. So these extensions are added to the BNF grammar for convenience, allowing us to shorten the grammar. Okay. Expression, expression plus term, expression minus term, term, okay, or term. The term, what's term? So term, it could be multiplication and a factor, a term, division, okay, or a factor. What's a factor? Can be an expression, okay. This is an exponentiation factor, okay. Yung dalawang asterisk. Expression can also be uh, a parenthesized expression or an identifier. Extended BNF, so meron siyang expression and then merong braces, no? Term, okay, factor, ayan. Meron ibang mga actions or computations there. Attribute grammars. It is not possible to describe all aspects of a language solely with the BNF grammar. BNF grammar lacks static semantics, that is, rules that the language dictates for a program to be syntactically correct. Okay? Attribute grammars are added to the BNF grammars to handle these gaps. Okay? So BNF is not complete, no? So it uh, needs more dimensions to handle the needs of the programming concepts. So what are those attributes? No, synthesize attributes, information pass up the parse tree, inherited attributes, information passed down to the parse tree, semantic functions. These are the rules or predicates associated with grammar rules that compare synthesized attributes to inherited attributes. The intrinsic attributes, a leaf node attributes derived when a rule generates a terminal. So deriving identifiers. So BNF rule for deriving an identifier is identifier, then can use underscore ID, a letter or ID. Okay, this is our deriving the rules of how can you define an identifier. No? We can enhance our grammar with the attribute length, the length. you can limit the number of characters. Assignment statement. Okay, these can have attributes: actual type, expected type. Okay, and and can also generate the parse tree. Okay, for your uh, assignment statement. A equals to A plus B. So that assignment operator, you have a variable, and you have expression, and you also have, of course, the operator. Here are your operands. Okay. Dynamic semantics describes the meaning of a program or of a statement of group of statements. You can have the operational semantics, so how the statement will be executed, axiomatic, what results to expect, what results to expect from the statement, the notational semantics, it's a functional way of mapping the affects of a statement. The operational semantics, okay, for loop, first expression, the start, second expression is the limit, the last expression there, dun sa for loop, yan yung step, and then you have the statement body or the loop body. So it becomes can be implemented as an interpreter, compiler, or assembler. Okay. So, siyempre, pag lower level, it will convert it to the lower level. Magkakaroon ng loops, go-to loops, no? So, into lower. So, from higher level language, ina-parse niya, ina-interpret niya into assembler level. Axiomatic semantics, usually used mainly to prove correctness of the code. The basic form for axiomatic semantic is P, S, Q. So, if P is true before S, then Q is true after S. You must now define how to determine Q given P and S. Weakest precondition. We will start with the given post condition and derive the weakest precondition. Okay. So sum equals to 2 times x plus 1. With post condition, okay, sum is greater than 1. The possible preconditions are x is greater than 10, x is greater than 50, and x greater than 1000. But the weakest precondition is x is greater than 0. Okay. Assignment statement rule. We use the following notation for assignment statement rule. Q, x, then E, x equals to E, set Q. Reads as if Q is true after the assignment, then Q sub E, then x sub then E is true prior. The notation means to replace all instances of x in Q with E. Okay. You just perform those rules. Sequences. In general, a series of statements S1 up to Sn can be expressed as P S1 Q1 semicolon Q1 S2 Q2 semicolon Q2 S3 Q3 Qn Sn Q. Simplified as P S1 S2 S3 and up to N Q. We can combine rules to show axiomatic semantics on a block of code. Okay. Rule of consequence. Okay. So the rule of consequence is shown as follows. P S Q. So yung equal and greater than sign means implies. Not P implies P. Q implies not Q. Okay. The rule means that if P not implies P and Q implies Q not, and we have already proven that P SQ is true, then we can infer that P not SQ not is also true. So yeah, there's a rule of consequence. Selection axiomatic semantic. Okay, so if B S1 else S2, the semantic rule is B and P, S1Q, not B and P, S2Q. So if Q is our post condition here, then we have two preconditions. If the if statement condition is true, B, then B and P, and if the if statement's condition is false, not B, then not B and P. Okay? So we must derive P that will allow the same post condition no matter B or not B is true. Okay? Logical pretest loop. The pretest loop looks like while B S. We must derive a precondition that is true prior to the loop, whether the B is true or not. But also, the precondition must remain true if B is true and S is executed. That is, B must be true prior to each loop operation. To derive P, we create I, a loop invariant. The invariant will always be true both before and after each loop iteration. The precondition must include I, and the postcondition must include I and not B. While loop example, okay, while y is not equal to x, y plus plus. Our postcondition is y equals to x. Okay, kasi it's incrementing, The postcondition states the condition is y is not equal to x is false. The precondition must include the condition y is not equal to x and the loop invariant. What's an invariant? So we need to select something that will be true both before after each loop iteration. Okay, either y is less than x or x is equals to y will be true. Our loop invariant is y is less than equals to x. Two more loop examples. Okay, and while s greater than 1, do s equals to s divided by 2. It will end with s equals to 1. So you also have program proof. As you can see, okay, the finding an invariant is not necessarily easy because you have to think of what are the possible values that the loop will still perform the iteration if the condition or expression in the loop expression hasn't been satisfied yet. By combining these axiomatic rules, we can prove the correctness of an entire program. Okay? X equals to A and Y equals to B. Okay? So you have these variables. Denotational semantics is a form of semantics. It's a more rigorous method of describing the meaning of a program than our previous approaches. Denotational semantics is based on the recursive function theory to derive a function that defines the affects of an instruction. The function is recursive, tends to be a very difficult topic, one of the hardest things while studying programming languages. The function will map from an instance of a mathematical object, the state of the machine, into another mathematical object. Example, we define the value of a binary number, okay, 0, 1, binary number 1. That is, binary number is 0, 1, or recursive binary number, followed by 0 or binary number followed by 1. The function must map from a binary number derived from the above grammar rule to a mathematical object. Assignment and loop. Okay. Here's the state of the machine. The state of the machine is an error if there is an error when evaluating E in S. Otherwise, the state of the machine is modified or X is now equal to E. But all other variables in S remain the same. Okay, there's a machine X. Okay, so there is an error when evaluating E in S. No, if the machine E has an error, then error. Else, okay, S not I1 V1 comma I1 V2 up to IN Vn, where for j is equals to 1 up to n, Vj is a variable map I s if I is not equals to x. Machine ex. So there won't be an error if the machine is not an error. So while b do l s delta. So if b, when evaluating given the state of the machine s is undefined, then we have an error. Otherwise, if b evaluates to false, then the state remains s. Otherwise, the state becomes the state when L is executed. So the state of the machine changes to be whatever the function ls returns. Since L is the some non-specified statement, we don't know exactly what will happen. Okay, there's a while loop. There's an if else here, nested if else. Then there's another while loop here, and it's calling a function. Okay, so yeah, it's an ambiguous. No? So basically, the idea is to write maintainable code. And let's avoid such scenarios that even us will be confused, or we will give the burden of the computation of processing the instructions that we give to the machine. So the lesson is to understand the behaviors of the semantics and syntax, and na- we should not allow our programs to consume a lot of energy and processes and memory and resources of the machine in order for us to write efficient algorithms.